My dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of our program Inside Egypt, during which we're going to bring you the latest political, economic and also social events that are taking place in Egypt. The head of the committee investigating the Russian plane crash pilot, Ayman al-Muqaddim, held a press conference to announce the latest regarding the ongoing investigations to the crash and the evidence that investigation team have gathered so far. Al-Muqaddim said the cockpit information from the jet had registered a noise in the last seconds of recording. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Hala El-Hamalo.
The lead investigator on the Russian plane which crashed in Egypt last week said on Saturday that the plane was flying on autopilot and appeared to break up in mid-air after a sudden noise, but it's too soon to conclude exactly what brought it down. Ayman al-Muqaddim, head of a team of experts looking into one of Egypt's worst air disasters, said that the cockpit voice recording would be analyzed to identify the nature of the noise, which Western governments have indicated may have been a bomb. Muqaddim said his team, including experts from Egypt, Russia, France, Germany and Ireland, was considering all possible scenarios for the cause of the accident, but had not yet reached any conclusion. He said structural fatigue, a fuel explosion, and even lithium batteries carried by passengers could be a cause. Muqaddim said the crash occurred 23 minutes into the flight when the autopilot was still engaged and debris were scattered over a wide area extending for 13 kilometers, which is consistent with an in-flight breakup. He said in a news conference in Cairo that initial observation of the aircraft wreckage does not yet allow for identifying the origin of the in-flight breakup. He added that the committee was analyzing the cockpit voice records and a noise was heard in the last second of the recording. He said a spectral analysis will be carried out by specialized labs in order to identify the nature of the noise. Referring to media reports citing Western intelligence sources pointing to the possibility that the plane was brought down by a bomb, Al-Muqaddim said no evidence related to those claims had been provided to his team. He said the committee is considering with great attention all possible scenarios for the cause of the accident and did not reach till the moment any conclusion in this regard.
Well, a number of foreign and Egyptian ambassadors visited the Russian embassy in Egypt to pay condolences following the Russian plane crash in Sinai. The officials expressed their grief over the loss of the Russian victims, adding that their governments greatly sympathizes with the Russian government. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Linda Abdellatif.
Right now in front of the Russian embassy in Egypt, where mourners are coming to pay their condolences following the Russian plane crash in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Now, as you can see right here, people have put buckets of flowers as a way of mourning the victims and showing their solidarity with the families of the victims. Earlier this week, Prime Minister Engineer Sharif Ismail has paid his condolences, stressing on the full coordination between the Egyptian and the Russian side to follow the repercussions of the incident. A number of foreign ambassadors have also visited the Russian embassy, expressing the mourning of their governments for the loss of the Russian victims.
It is a huge, big tragedy for all of us here. I think not only for Serbian people who share brotherly feelings with Russian people. I think the same like Egyptians, and it was very, very surprising and very, very sad event.
Just very deep sympathies. What could I say? It is a tragic accident that takes innocent lives of innocent people.
The government and the people of Chile are extremely concerned and wish to convey the deepest condolence to the government, people of Russia, and especially to the families and the friends of the victims. That's it. We are extremely sorry for this accident.
Foreign citizens have headed as well to the Russian embassy to place flowers and teddy bears in memory of the plane crash victims. The vice president of the Egyptian Tourism Federation also visited the embassy and praised the Egyptian-Russian strong relations. We have been in contact with the Russian tour operators and paid the condolences of the tourism sector. As for the Russian tourists who will be visiting the country, none of whom have cancelled their reservations, whether in the resort city of Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada. Egypt and Russia have strong relations that will not be affected by the plane crash incident.
We assure them that Egypt has been always safe and welcome.
Earlier on Saturday, the Russian airliner crashed 23 minutes after taking off from the resort city of Sharm el-Sheikh, killing all 224 people on board, a tragic incident that has caused grief among people all over the world. Linda Abdulatif, Nile TV International.
While the Ministry of Interior announced the arrest of the Muslim Brotherhood terrorist cell that blocked the sewage system in Alexandria, the Interior Ministry announced that the terrorist cell blocked the sewage system to hinder the government's efforts to contain the heavy rain consequences. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Hala El-Hamalawi.
17 people belonging to specialized committees of the outlawed Muslim Brotherhood were arrested on Friday on charges of planting 2 explosive devices and attempting to block rain drainage in Alexandria. The Interior Ministry said in an official statement 1 bomb exploded near the Attariyin police station, but the other one was defused before exploding in the same area. The statement added that defendants dumped a cement mixture into the drainage canals to block the water and cause floods, consequently causing the repeated flooding in the city. The cabinet allocated 6 billion Egyptian pounds to maintain drainage infrastructure in Alexandria and Bahira in a bid to contain the damages resulting from the floods. Further, Prime Minister Sharif Ismail issued a decision to develop drainage systems in Bahira in meeting with Bahira Governor Mohammed Sultan as well as the Ministers of Irrigation, Local Development and Population on Saturday. The Egyptian Red Crescent announced a state of emergency following the floods in Alexandria and Bahira and formed working groups to deal with the situation in Wadi al-Natrun in coordination with the Ministries of Social Solidarity and Health and Population.
Now we'll have a look at the Tourism magazine, which brings us interesting news related to touristic places in Egypt and attractive destinations with Abir Mutwalli.
A limestone relief dating back to the New Kingdom period between the 16th and 11th centuries BC was recovered from an auction hall in London after 2 weeks of negotiations. Minister of Antiquities Mamdouh al-Damati said that the ministry was informed about the relief by the cartel at the British Museum Marshal Murray. Murray sent a photograph of the piece to the ministry asking for its authenticity as the piece was put on display in an auction hall in London. Al-Damati assigned an archaeological committee to inspect the relief. The committee later confirmed its authenticity. A report was then filed at Egypt's Tourism and Antiquities Police, and a similar one was sent to Interpol in order to stop the sale of the relief. Ali Ahmed, director of the Recuperation Antiquities Department, explained that the relief was then confiscated by British police and is due to come home next week. He explained that the relief was stolen due to illegal excavations. The relief is engraved with a scene depicting the 19th dynasty king Seti the first before goddess Hathor and god Web Watwat. It also bears text and the names of several ancient Egyptian deities of Asyut governorate in Upper Egypt. Blocks of King Nakhtambu's the first shrine were unearthed during excavation works carried out by an Egyptian German archaeological mission in the area known in ancient time as Aoun City, now Ain Shams. Minister of Antiquities Mamdouh al-Damati said the mission also uncovered small limestone blocks of number of columns and the ceiling of the temple of 30th dynasty King Nakhtambu I. The ceiling is decorated with stars. Parts of King Menimtah and Nekhmentu I statues were also found along with a collection of mud bricks used in the fence that once surrounded Aoun. Mahmoud Afifi, head of the Ancient Egyptian Department and the Antiquities Ministry, explained that the sizes of the newly discovered blocks of the shrine ranged between 75 centimeters and 1.25 centimeters, carved in basalt and engraved with the different names of Egypt regions at that time.
Well, new images have show historic discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb in color for the first time. The images tell the story of the British archaeologist Howard Carter, who uncovered the tomb of Tutankhamun after 15 years of search. Hala Hamalawi has more details in the following report.
In 1922, the discovery of Tutankhamun's 3,000-year-old burial chamber captivated the world. It was the culmination of a 15-year search, which eventually uncovered 5,000 antiques, including the king's sarcophagus, his gold mask, and stillborn mummies. This week, on the 93rd anniversary of the find, researchers have unveiled newly colorized photos of the discovery. The pictures were taken by British photographer Harry Burton during the excavation process and have been made from the original glass plate negatives. They tell the story of English archaeologist and Egyptologist Howard Carter, who was asked in 1907 to supervise excavations in the Valley of the Kings. By that point, Carter had been in Egypt in 1891, and most of the ancient Egyptian tombs had been discovered. But very little was known about King Tutankhamun, who had died when he was 19 years old. On November the 4th, 1922, Carter's group found steps that led to Tutankhamun's tomb and spent several months cataloging the antechamber. The discovery was made near the entrance of the nearby tomb of King Ramses IV in the Valley of the Kings. On the 26th of November 1922, Carter and fellow archaeologist Lord Carnarvon entered the interior chambers of the tomb, finding them miraculously intact.
The Social Fund for Development, in coordination with UNDP and the Swedish Embassy in Egypt, held an event under the title Entrepreneur of Women's Day. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Abir Mutwalli.
Fund and the Swedish Embassy in Cairo hosted an event entitled The Leading Women. During this ceremony, the Secretary General of the Social Development Fund, Soha Ahmed, honored a number of entrepreneurs who have received a loan from the fund and worked in small and medium-sized projects and achieved great success.
Today we're celebrating the Women Entrepreneurs Day in collaboration with all our donors and multinational institutions who were cooperating with us the past years in enhancing economic empowerment for the women. The two major partners are UNDP and the Sweden Embassy in light of today's event, but we have many other entities that are also supporting Social Fund in its role to achieve the economic empowerment for women. We have EBRD, we have African Development, we have World Bank, and we have plenty of interference through some of the embassies that are working in Egypt.
The Swedish ambassador, Charlotte Spur, attended the event and participated in honoring the successful women.
I think that women in every society play an absolutely crucial role, but it is important that they both are given the equal opportunities, the equal rights, and that they can contribute to society for the benefit of both men and women and for the whole of the society. And I think that we see a lot of positive movement in that respect. It's of course a long way to go, but I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing.
On the sidelines of the conference, an exhibition was held for the sale of some products made by women, included cost and margin simple profit. The United Nations is working in Egypt on several programs that support women's social, economic and political advancement.
On behalf of the United Nations here in Egypt, how happy we are to be participating to celebrate Women's Entrepreneurship Day. I think this is an extremely important issue because when women's businesses grow and when they are able to be having the potential to grow as economic entrepreneurs, it contributes to the growth of the country and the growth of the nation.
Through ages, the Egyptian women are playing a major role in the society in all fields. Abir Mutwalli, Nile TV.
Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program Inside Egypt, during which we've brought you the latest political, economic, and also social events that are taking place in Egypt. I hope you've enjoyed being with us. I'm Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.